Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Winter's Wish, continuing Otaro's route, possibly getting the best ending today. We're about to go have our massive fight with Hibie, so we'll see. We'll see. Or, I mean, if not, the part before the last part. But anyway, the mountain path was a lot rougher than I remembered. Trees had been knocked down, and the ground had been recklessly trampled. It was clear that something massive had passed through. After following the path and arriving at the summit, we spotted the transparent walls towering all around the settlement. Is this the barrier then mentioned?
It must be a pretty strong one if we can see it this clearly. Makes the one around our base look like child's play.
Observing it carefully, Yoichi slowly reached his hand out to the barrier. That was extremely loud for a sound effect. Holy shit. There appeared to be an actual wall, and even when Yoichi pushed it, it didn't budge at all. In this state, it was obviously impossible to enter. And keeping out the monster is one thing, but to keep us out as well, a double-edged sword, I suppose. It's like poor Kuka feels offended by it.
That'd have been great if we could have talked to Lord Hibina before the battle began.
Considering why the barrier was erected in the first place, it's not like we can force our way through either. I wonder if there may be a way that we can draw his attention. Throw rocks at it? Lord Hibina... Even now he was protecting the settlement all by himself. When I thought about Lord Hibina, who tried to be more godly than anyone else, I felt conflicted. I wanted to help Lord Hibina, and as I reached out toward the barrier... What? Without any warning, a hole suddenly appeared. It was barely large enough for a person to pass through. Guys, climb in the hole!
Spacey, did you do something?
Power of the Hakuseki clan? No, I just touched it. It doesn't look like the barrier's broken, but... It may have reacted to your Hakuseki blood. Let's go. And I'll pull back the curtain, guys. Everybody climb in. Inside the barrier, the landscape was exactly the same as how I'd left it. A land covered in off-season snow. The snow had buried the entire settlement, hiding it from sight. My mother, the members of the clan, they're all resting beneath this snow. I mean, it's kind of like, I get it because, Hibina doesn't have, a physical form. You can see him, but can you touch him? But, so she's been tromping on dead bodies for years? The way Hibie destroyed them, they're all just, guts and goo, but, I'm curious about this. I'm sorry. I can't help but be curious. Hibina made it snow, but, did it, if the snow goes away, are you going to be like, oh, look, skeletons, and oh, look, there's a femur over there, and there's somebody's arm over there. You know what I mean? The fuck? It's kind of creepy. Now that I knew the truth, there was no way that I could walk through the settlement as if everything was normal. You've been tromping on dead people your whole life. As I nervously trudged forward, I spotted the shrine that I had always prayed at. Someone was waiting in front of it. Welcome back. As his white robes decorated with scarlet embellishments fluttered, the man gave us an affectionate smile. Considering his body was half transparent and he was floating in the air like a cloud, it was clear that he was not of this world. You must be Lord Hibina? Oh, right. We've never properly met before, so you don't know who I am. When I nervously asked the question, Lord Hibina chuckled and smiled like a mischievous child. Nice to meet you, Spacey. And you as well, constructs of Yoshimune. I am Hibina, this shrine's god of forging bonds. You're... So Yoshimune really pulled it off. Never expected him to create vessels that looked so similar to humans. He was like, I was just fucking with him. I didn't know it was going to work. I know that's not exactly what he meant, but it's still funny. You there. You're the one who took Spacey to Edo, correct?
Are you talking about me?
Yes. I watched over your meeting from this very shrine. At the time, it didn't even occur to me that you might be a vessel. So then you were watching over me the entire time I was living here? Yes, of course, but please forgive me for not talking with you sooner. I know you've gone through some difficult times. No, it's not your fault. It kind of is your fault. I mean, indirectly, but like also like, I mean, Hibie is the one that murdered everybody, but Hibina's actions kind of led to that. But then again, it's not also his fault so much as the clan being a bag of dicks. But he wasn't helping matters. You know what I mean? So, like, 50-50 on you not helping the clan simmer the fuck down caused them to kill my mother, which caused Hibie to go fucking ballistic and kill everybody else and lead to this situation. So, clan is a big part of the problem. You were also part of the problem, though. You know what I mean? So, anyway, you're a god, so that's to be expected. After all, God should not interfere with a human's life. Well, what the fuck is, what's the use of you then? I mean, to be fair, I get it. In concept. Like, because what if a god interferes in your life? How do you get the god to interfere in your life? Well, you offered the best sacrifices or the most whatever. So, like, whether it's sacrificing virgins to a volcano or like gold and jewels. So again, it's like the real world where the rich get richer and everybody else suffers. So that's kind of bullshit. The fuck is the purpose of a god then? You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you never intervene at all and you're just sitting there watching, you are literally no better than a person watching a movie. You're just there for entertainment, bro. Like, oh, that guy fell. That's fucking hilarious. He's gonna fall and stab himself through the eye, but like, I'm just gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Like, if you never intervene ever, what is your fucking purpose? You have no purpose. Then there's really no reason to even believe in gods because they are just there to laugh at you when you fall. So, like, you know what I mean? So they have to have some level of intervening, otherwise their purpose is pointless. Aside from you going, well, if I pray hard enough, no, because they're not listening. They're not going to do jack shit. What are you wasting your time for? It's to make you feel better, but it's not making you feel better because they're never going to answer your prayers because they're useless. Like, you know? Like a nice theological debate circle, but you know, so never interfere in a human's life. I feel though, again, but with Hibina here, if you had interfered a little bit, I mean, technically you did interfere in my mother's life because she came and asked you to let her forge a bond with my father and then cut ties with the clan, and then that led to this scenario, to be fair. But again, so I mean, you go back to the, you know, there's always a step backwards. You're like, well, Hibina just being like, I can't interfere. They're just going to kill her. Led everybody in this village to getting killed because your lack of interference. But that also, if you go back far enough, was you did interfere with my mother's life because she asked you to, which then led to and then if you go back further, like, so I mean, there's always a back further where you could go back to, well, if human beings never fucking crawled out of the primordial ooze, none of this would have all happened. Fair enough. You know, it's like, there's always a further back to blame, I guess. So it's everybody's fault and nobody's fault. There you go. It's Schrodinger's fault. It's both your fault and also not your fault. I repeated Lord Hibina's words from the past, and his eyes widened in shock. Your memories, have they returned? Yes, I remember everything. About my mother and about the clan. Well, I suppose my spells aren't as strong as I'd thought. I really hoped you'd never remember those awful events ever again. And again, but then never interfere. You interfered by blocking my memories. So, Hibina's not following his own advice. While maintaining a sorrowful expression, Lord Hibina turned his gaze to the sun as it was about to disappear past the horizon. Although him, not letting a child remember those horrible things was a nice thing to do, don't get me wrong. But us to never remember is also kind of cruel if you think about it, because then we never remember a mother, we never remember Tominari, we don't have all the earlier memories of our mother and father happy together. We lose a lot by also losing the trauma. But at the time, losing the trauma and forgetting about it was a good thing. Because a child having to remember those things is terrible. Darkness had started to encroach upon the amber-dyed sky. Spacey, there are many things I want to talk to you about. Unfortunately, it seems we don't have enough time. Lord Hibina then turned to face us again. His gaze was directed at everyone gathered in front of the shrine. It's almost dusk. Hibie should be ready to attack this settlement. Will you help me repel him? I'd rather not Hibie consume me, for my own sake and for the sake of this country. Of course, Kinji was turning into Yuichi. Of course, Lord Hibina. We're here under orders from Lord Yoshimune to eliminate the divine Blightfall. We're all here to protect you. Thank you. I'm counting on you. They sound too similar to me, but if possible, we'd like a briefing on the current situation. Did you create this barrier? And why wouldn't you let me in? It made me sad. I'm just kidding. Yes, as this shrine is where I'm worshipped, I cannot leave this place. So I've been buying myself time. He's not really worshipped by anybody, though, because nobody comes here, poor thing. That makes sense. And then would it be best for us to conduct our battle against Hibie outside the barrier? Your safety is our top priority, after all. No, that won't work. Uh-oh. Night fell faster. At the same time Lord Hibina uttered that, a darkness fell over the sky. The sun had set, but that wasn't all. A large mass of what appeared to be black mist had gathered around the barrier. The mass of black threads, started to tangle and condense, creating a human form. Everyone look! That's Hibie! As we stared up, dumbfounded, Lord Hibie took on the appearance of a giant made of black threads. Its hair-raising scream was one that I could never forget. As soon as Lord Hibie revealed himself, he immediately swung his huge, trunk-like arms down on the barrier. From the inside, I could see that even a single blow managed to make the barrier splinter and warp. You must have noticed by now. This barrier is at its limits. I don't have the strength to recreate it either. To tell the truth, I tried to fight him once before, but his mask was too tough to break. Considering how much malice he has within him, I suppose it's to be expected. We're gonna think about using the thing that, the braided rope that Otaro gave us. Probably at the very end. Don't worry, there's gonna be a battle first, but not even a god was able to defeat him. That means our snow sacraments won't make a dent in him either, right? Precisely. That's why I'm thinking of intentionally lifting my barrier. What do you mean? Within this settlement, I can create a purifying snow. If we can keep Hibie exposed to the snowfall, then it should be able to slowly purify the malice he's accumulated, making him weaker. Okay. Once we do that, your snow sacrament should work on him. However, I have to concentrate on the purification. I'm afraid I won't be much help during the fight. Get in the shrine, so and we'll block the door. This way we can stop him from getting to you.
That's fine and all, but won't you be safe? Oh, but you won't be safe anymore if you lift the barrier, right?
Yes, so you'll have to protect me during the fight. It won't matter how much I purify him if he ends up absorbing me. As we discussed that, Lord Hibie continued to unleash powerful attacks in an attempt to break through the barrier. The barrier was already bent out of shape. That's how I feel. Bent out of shape. There's no time. We should come up with a strategy, even if it's a simple one. First, as Lord Habina suggested, we shall lure the enemy as deep into the settlement as we can. The Divine Blightfall's only target is Lord Habina. He should approach the shrine once the barrier's gone. Luring him should be child's play. Myself, Genjuro, and Yoichi shall strike at the enemy. Kunitaka and Tominari focus on protecting the shrine. At the orders, the four of them nodded together. Next, Spacey, please remain on standby near the shrine. Are you sure? If I use my power, we might be able to contain Lord Habie. You're a novice at combat. Pushing yourself to use your power will only put you in danger. You must only take aim when the enemy draws near. If you are near the shrine, then the Divine Blightfall will most certainly attempt an attack. Kunitaka and Tominari will be there to help you as well. Let's take this carefully. As long as we stay alive, there'll always be an opportunity to strike. Don't worry. We'll protect you. I promise. Right. Now then, everyone, please take your positions. At Kinji's exclamation, the Oniwabon split off. And once everyone reached their positions, Lord Abina swung his arm down in a wide arc. And lifting the barrier. In that instant, the transparent wall that had been covering the settlement disappeared without a trace. Seizing his opportunity, Lord Habie immediately regained his composure and started to walk toward us, while letting out a roar. His target was, of course, Lord Habina's shrine. It's showtime, you two. Right.
Understood.
Aww. Look at my best boys. I love them. They are my favorites, I'll be honest. We know this. Kinji and the others unsheathed their swords and ran forward to engage. It's also interesting because Yoichi's wearing mostly red, and Kuga's wearing mostly blue, and then Kinji's in the middle wearing mostly purple, and that's how colors work! I just like that little... I don't think they did it on purpose, but I like it. At the same time, Lord Habina clasped his hands together and began to offer prayers as we watched from behind. As he did so, the thin veil of clouds that floated in the gray sky gradually grew larger and thicker. The falling snow also turned from small flakes to clusters, and finally to a full-on blizzard, engulfing my vision in a dense, formless white. Sparks of light flashed every time a snowflake hit Lord Habie's body. I could see the black threads starting to dissipate. The snow! It's purifying Lord Habie! It wasn't that I didn't believe Lord Habina's words, but realizing its effectiveness was beyond anything I'd imagined. I couldn't help but gasp in amazement. You'd think crunching on the snow would also be like eating away at his feet, He's
headed your way!
Right. And then, in the front lines, Yoichi and the others fought Lord Habie. Luckily, Lord Habie's massive body meant his movements were slow. His swings were heavy enough to gouge the earth, but it was all for naught if he couldn't hit his target. The three of them dodged at the last moment and retaliated with slashes from their swords. The blades, embodying the power of the snow sacrament, kept cutting away more and more of the black threads that made Lord Habie's body. Let's keep this up. Start by clipping away the enemy's strength. We shall attack his weak point after. However, Lord Habie would not let them go without a fight. Well, I mean, duh, because this is the final fight, so... makes sense. He swung his thick and massive arm, creating a gust of wind that blew the three away from his body. While they were incapacitated, he turned back to us and used his other hand to send out the tentacles of black threads. They squished and tangled together as they flew straight toward the shrine. He must have judged that, even if his body couldn't catch up, he could still defeat Lord Habina by simply extending his tentacles. But Tominari and Tojo were there, ready to fight. All right, bring it on!
You're not laying a single finger on Lord Habina.
Their swords gave off a pale blue light, and the two of them immediately cut down the tentacles that flew at them.
There!
Then Tominari purposefully pierced his blade through one of the tentacles. The tentacle immediately wrapped itself around his blade. As he struggled against it, Tominari turned back towards me.
Spacey, now!
Right! Leave it to me! In that moment, I reached out as fast as I could toward the tentacles wrapped around Tominari's sword. Of course, I put in as much of my strength as possible. Before I knew it, Lord Hibiye was letting out an otherworldly screech as he twisted his body. The tentacles that had extended all the way to the front of the shrine shrank back in the blink of an eye and returned to Lord Hibiye's body. Whoa, you really showed him!
Spacey, let's do that again. If we could get a few more hits in, we might be able to end this.
Got it! Tominari and Tojo, I'll be counting on you! It might have been because we had Lord Hibina's support, but the battle seemed to be moving in our favor. Oh, you say that, and now I'm like, but then... Kinji and the others had again closed the distance between them and Lord Hibiye, and were all about to slash forward at once. At this rate, it won't be long until... But at that moment, I told you there was going to be a but... But this was a but at that moment instead of but and then. Lord Hibiye started to make strange movements. The black threads making up his body were being squeezed, like cloth being wrung. Everyone in the Oniwaban was concentrated on the battle and didn't seem to have noticed. I wonder what he's doing. I don't really understand, but it feels dangerous. Well, and I was like, okay, well, Otaro's in there, right? Everyone, pull back from Lord Hibiye for a bit! He's making some sort of strange move! Though I tried to warn them, it was too late. Lord Hibiye released his taut body all at once and used the recoil to let out an extremely powerful roar. Okay, we saw this in Tominari's route, like the roar thing. Okay. The paralyzing sound sent vibrations through the air, shaking the houses and trees around us. Even the members of the Oniwaban stopped dead in their tracks. What is that voice? I can't move my body. Lord Hibiye didn't waste that moment. First, he used his massive arm to send the closest person, Kuga, flying.
Wait, Genjiro! Ah!
And Yoichi, distracted, was smacked away by the returning arm. I see now. I do not know what spell this is, but your voice has stopped our movements. How very clever of you. However, I will not be defeated so easily. During all this, Kinji forced his numb body into position and once again held out his sword. Oh, this is why you're the oldest. You're the wisest and sexiest one of all. And as Lord Hibiye was about to return to his original position, Kinji bounded forward, aiming for his mask. How tough. But it was still too early. Kinji's strike merely left a small scratch on Lord Hibiye's mask. With this, there was no way he could deal the final blow. The next moment, Lord Hibiye retaliated with a punch that knocked Kinji all the way to the edge of the settlement. After they fell to the ground, not a single one of them moved a muscle. Aw. Is everyone okay? This is bad. If we don't do something, he'll breach the shrine. Tominari, keep your guard up.
I know. We have to buy time for everyone to
return. Use your power whenever you see an opening. Yeah, leave it to me. Unlike Kinji and the others, we had managed to avoid the effects of the roar, probably because we weren't as close to Hibiye as they were. Behind us, Lord Hibina was continuing to pray with intense concentration. As expected, Lord Hibiye started to walk straight towards Lord Hibina, his ultimate target. The vessels at the front lines were no longer there to stop him. There was no point in waiting to attack.
He's here, Kunataka.
Gotcha. Don't let him go any further. And then Tojo and Tominari bravely stood up to face Lord Hibiye. 3 people were barely enough. Trying to slow down Lord Hibiye with 2 people was a rather difficult task. Though Tojo and Tominari were fighting courageously, they were on the defensive. Oh, right. This is the sort of situation where I have to provide support. But as soon as I tried to approach Lord Hibiye, his tentacles would suddenly target me. It seemed that Lord Hibiye was already on guard. I won't let him... If they managed to pierce my body, I wouldn't stand a chance. I immediately rolled to the side to dodge, but instead they hit my dominant arm. I couldn't even scream properly from the sheer pain. On top of that, when I looked up again, Lord Hibiye was extending new tentacles toward me to maintain his advantage. Now that I had lost my balance, there was no way I could dodge another attack. Watch out! That was when Tominari came to save me. He jumped in front of me to act as my shield and used his sword to deflect the tentacles. Otaro, I'm gonna need you to, do something inside of Hibiye. Just throw that out there. Thanks to that, I was able to avoid being hit directly by the tentacles. However, Lord Hibiye's next strike sent Tominari flying. Tominari? I wanted to run up to check on him, but Tominari had rolled under the shadow of a tree some distance away. The only thing I could see was the color of blood spreading into the pale white snow. Shit! Now that he was alone, there was no way Tojo could stand his ground. Though we held on until the last second, he took the full brunt of Lord Hibiye's massive fist and was thrown to the other side of the houses. Tojo! Everyone! My surroundings had turned into a hellscape. Again. Trampled snow, drops of bright red blood splattered atop. My friends collapsed limply onto the ground. I was the only Oniwaban left standing. Amidst everything, I managed to stand up. After being attacked by the tentacle, my arm was too painful to move. Though it hadn't broken skin, everything below my elbow was bruised blue. Maybe it was a broken bone. That's what I was thinking. I probably should have gotten more combat training. Spacey, don't push yourself. Then Lord Hibino whispered to me from behind, while keeping his spell active, of course. This is a fight you cannot win. You see that already, don't you? Lord Hibino's words were the painful truth, and though he may have been right, I still couldn't agree. Giving up here would mean the end of everything. Accepting such a fate was out of the question, till a bad ending, perchance. In order to win in this situation, I have to throw all of my power at him and try to purify Lord Hibiye. Since Lord Hibino's snow has accumulated, I might be able to do it now. As I summoned up my strength and courage, I got into a stance in front of the shrine. During that time, Lord Hibiye was close enough that I could almost touch him. I only have this one chance. The moment Lord Hibiye attacked the shrine, I would have to get in contact with him again. My dominant hand was now useless, so it would be quite the ordeal. But if I release my power in that split second, we might still have a chance. Spacey, what do you think you're doing? And then, that moment came. Lord Hibiye pulled his right arm back and then threw his fist out in the form of a right hook. Oh. Perhaps I'd been pushed to my limits, since in that moment my eyes perceived Lord Hibiye's movements as unnaturally slow. I could clearly see how Lord Hibiye's fist was gradually approaching me. With this, even I can track his movements. Maybe even land a blow. Ultimately, my snow sacrament was a direct hit. Thanks to that, the path of his fist was deflected away from the shrine and toward a house in the back. But, in exchange, I was unable to dodge Lord Hibiye's fist. Spacey! Before I knew it, I was thrown against the wall of the house. My ears caught the sound of something hard breaking inside my body. From the back of my throat, I spat out a clump of blood. My entire body and all its senses were left reeling in pain, so much so that I barely had the capacity to think. This doesn't sound like the best ending, but sure. But I protected the shrine. It must be a mutual defeat, at least. Grimacing at the taste of metal in my mouth, I managed to lift my gaze up. Standing there, I saw Lord Hibiye looking no worse than before. That can't be. No. Looking closer, I saw the snow sacrament had disintegrated his right arm up to the elbow. Thanks to Lord Hibina's powers of purification, my powers were unmistakably stronger. But no matter how much damage we dealt, it was pointless if we couldn't defeat him. Just as we thought, there's no effect unless I touch his mask and inject my power there. But I can't do that if I'm on my own. It might have been the blood loss. My field of vision started to become more and more narrow. I could no longer feel my fingertips. Even when I tried to move, I couldn't do it properly. But we've come all this way. Is there really nothing I can do? I've met so many people that are important to me, and I can't protect any of them? As my consciousness drifted away, what played in the back of my mind were the countless memories I'd created. Don't buy my headset. You're being a jerk. That's why I pushed you away.
Come with me, Spacey. You'll find a place where you belong, Anito.
I love you, Bird, but stop attacking my headset. Well, everyone starts out that way. But don't worry. If you come join our team, I'll take responsibility and look after you. There's no need to worry. I'll always protect you. Stop, Bird!
Satisfied? Then I'm heading off.
Could have picked a better moment with Yoichi when he wasn't being a bitch.
I heard that they were going to bring someone from a faraway village, so I was wondering what kind of wild child they'd bring back, but you're pretty cute.
Kinji, flirting with me from day one, okay. There we go! You were looking for this, weren't you? Is that weird? You're a really kind person. Who went meeting everyone. Otaro. I mean, it makes sense. She's seeing everyone, and then she sees Otaro in her mind, and then it's just Otaro because she's in love with him. Why? I like that way of thinking. Instead of saying it's always been like that, I think it's more romantic to think that the abalone wished for it itself. That makes it look even more beautiful. Fine. If you want to know so bad, I'll tell you. It's obvious. I wanted to be with you, okay? I wanted to live a normal life, too. To have been born as a regular form folk. To have been a regular part of your family. Speezy, can you hear me? Hey! Huh? But the final scene I remembered was completely unfamiliar to me. This must be the inside of Lord Hibie's body. I remembered how all the black threads looked squished together. But had I ever heard Otaro call my name like this before? Hey, get a hold of yourself! If you fall asleep, you'll die! He just slapped me? I think he slapped me. But once Otaro lightly slapped my cheek, I came to my senses. This wasn't a vision of the past. Now, at this very moment, my soul was meeting Otaro's. What a relief. Looks like you're still alive. After he saw my reaction, Otaro gave me a relieved smile. As soon as I saw that simple smile, I felt like something was gripping my heart. It really was Otaro, the man I loved. I'm so sorry, Otaro. Why are you apologizing? I said that I'd save you, but I couldn't keep my promise. If only I was stronger. I existed only as a soul right now, so I didn't feel pain. But once I returned to reality, I'd likely be on my last legs. It was hard to imagine me defeating Lord Hibie or rescuing Otaro in that state. Even as we talked, my consciousness was drifting further and further away. I mean, there's no need for you to apologize. If I meet some miserable fate, that's just me getting my just desserts for all the crimes I committed. And I've already made my peace with that. Oh, Taro. But I don't want anyone to die because of me. Anymore. You sacrificing yourself. I can't accept that. He squeezed those words out of his throat and put his hand over mine. Then an unbelievable thing happened. Magic glowing. As soon as our hands overlapped, a soft light began to spill from where we were touching. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped my entire body. Even the dog-shaped Natsuke simmered with faint light at my waist. What is this? The next instant, my consciousness, which had been teetering on the verge of slipping away, was suddenly pulled back from the brink. Not only that, but an unexpected strength began to well up from deep within my body. It's warm. Feels like I'm being basked in sunlight. Confused, I looked up to find Otaro nodding as if he was becoming sure of something.
Maybe I might be able to share my power with you.
The power of love lets you share power. What do you mean?
I think I mentioned it before, but that braided rope is woven with Hakuseki clan's threads. A thread that can bind someone to an agreement.
At Otaro's words, I once again looked down at the Nitsuke. I didn't notice when I looked at it the first time. Not only was the Nitsuke emitting a warm light, but the braided rope was as well. No, rather it seemed the braided rope was emitting an even stronger light.
You're the one who tied the braided rope to my Nitsuke, right? So in a way, I'm bound to you right now.
Aw, how adorable. We bound our boyfriend to us. Sounds kind of scary. It's like, whoa, wait.
My power might be flowing into you because of that.
As if to prove those words correct, the light pouring out of Otaro continued to flow into me. The more strength flowed into me, the more translucent Otaro and the Nitsuke became.
Alright then, I'll give up this body for you.
Oh, he's gonna give up the body, but then his soul's gonna be, and then we're gonna birth him as a form folk. But is he gonna remember? But if you do that, wouldn't you disappear? You say that you don't want me to be the sacrifice, but the same goes for you, too.
I'd rather that than a pointless death. Besides, I'm not disappearing. I'm becoming one with you.
Okay, that's a little too much. Like, I know I have an imaginary man harem, but like to be like your real lover is like I'm in your brain now. We're literally one. No one's gonna understand that. Becoming one with me?
Exactly. It's not just our bodies. Our souls will be connected. You can feel it too, can't you?
I'd still rather you actually have a physical form than just be a voice in my head, but you know, because I feel like in modern times they'd be like, oh, she was just crazy. As he said that, Otaro quietly smiled at me. When I took another look at our joined hands, it seemed that my arms were also becoming dimmer, not just Otaro's. I wasn't taking away his strength. We were accepting each other's existences. Otaro wasn't just trying to give me peace of mind. He was stating the truth. Yeah, I can feel it. This warm relief must be your soul.
Warm? I'm burning up over here. Your soul must be the same as your usual self. It's overbearing. You give up such a strong presence, it's exhausting. There's never any time to feel alone. But strangely enough, I don't hate it at all.
Otaro slowly closed his eyes and leaned his body towards mine. I was like, no, they're gonna cockblock us again. Meanwhile, Hibina faced Hibie alone under the sunless sky. As he continued to make the divine snowfall, Hibina looked around his surroundings with only his eyes. Spacey, who had been tossed aside by Hibie's fist, leaned against the wall of the house, her entire body covered in wounds. She wasn't moving at all. Her eyes, too, remained firmly closed. Was she dead? The rest of the Oniwaban were in similar conditions and hardly in any shape to continue fighting. It's funny because, okay, when he let out the roar and did that, yeah, but I feel like in Tominari's route they were able to get back to fight it, but maybe it was because Tominari avoided it or whatever, you know? It just seems like they got down for the count real fast, you know? All the while, Hibie closed in on Hibina, step by step. Words resembling hexes and curses flowed from Hibie into Hibina's mind. Was it because they were originally two halves of the same being? So that's basically going to be me and Otaro. As Hibina predicted, no matter how much snow he created, it seemed impossible to purify him unless someone dealt the final blow. Even as Hibina continued to observe him, Hibie held his arm high. So, this is the end. Hibina, his mind prepared, quietly closed his eyes. In his final moments, he wanted to remember his other half as he looked in days gone by, rather than as the hideous monster he had eventually become. But in that moment, a piercing light emanated from right beside him. It was bright, so bright that Hibina could even see it with his eyes closed. which made him pry his eyes open once more. That light, where is it? Habina looked around with narrowed eyes, trying to locate the source of the light. There stood Spacey. The bright, white light poured out from her injured body, a light so bright that it veiled her very being. Spacey, what's happening? As Habina stood bewildered, the light continued to cleanse Spacey of the blood that sullied her. At the same time, it appeared to heal her. Under normal conditions, it should have been impossible. Habina couldn't help but stare. Habia, too, was entranced by the miraculous sight. It couldn't be. That's... And then, when the light faded away, Spacey had been completely healed. The power of love! She must have woken. Her eyes, which had been firmly closed, were now open and pissed. She clenched and unclenched her palms as if to check her own condition. She then steadied herself on the snow and slowly stood up. Oh, look! I got white hair now! I'm like full-on Hakuseki, bitch! Like the Hakuseki clan of old, she was bathed in pure white. I had finally returned? Who's I? Oh, they switched back to me, I guess. From the pitch-black world of dreams to the realm of reality where blood and snow fell. There wasn't even a transition. It was like straight up... Okay, hold on. I was trying to like skip back and I forgot which button. It's like the Hakuseki clan of old. She was bathed in pure white. I had finally returned. There wasn't even like a... Okay. My body... Nothing's broken. After I stood up, I checked over myself once more, but found not a single injury. The bitter taste of blood that had flooded my mouth, too, had disappeared. In fact, I felt stronger than I had before I collapsed. Every fiber of my being felt like it was about to boil over with energy. What's going on with me? Though only in passing, I still remembered pressing my body against Otaro's in my dream, and now we fused together. But I couldn't recall what happened afterward. Is it me, or is it getting darker all of a sudden? While my eyes were still bleary, I glanced upward, and at that exact moment, Lord Habie was about to bring his fist down right on top of me. What? All of my thoughts came to a sudden halt. You're like, bitch, give me a minute! I just woke up! But strangely enough, my body deftly moved to counter Lord Habie's attack. Before the fist could reach me, I extended my arm and activated the snow sacrament. Under the same conditions as before, it would have been a draw. I would have been knocked down again. But this time, Lord Habie's arm was the only casualty. Perhaps it was because the snow had accumulated even more. Or perhaps it was because I had fused with Otaro. I stood my ground, unscathed. Lord Habie, knocked off balance, fell over into the powdery snow. And also, if you fused with Otaro and took him away, then Habie is also lacking some of that because you just stole whatever was Otaro inside Habie. So, like, if Habie had the power of a 5, but then Otaro was giving him a +2, he's now back down to a 5. You know what I'm saying? We took away some of his attack power and some of his strength by taking away Otaro. So... Did my arm just move on its own? Oh, it's little... Oh my god, our romance is going to be Otaro's in our head. Is this how it ends? Look, but his little ghost Otaro next to us. Guys, it's adorable. But, like, it's still... I don't know, it's a little bittersweet. It's, he's not dead, but he's kind of like... I don't know, I think I maybe would prefer he's kind of an imaginary being in our head now than he's a form folk who remembers nothing, but... Oh, anyway. Seriously? Quit spacing out! Okay, my name is Spacey, Jesus. And then, as if to answer my questions, someone else's voice echoed in my head. It was Otaro. Rather than through sound, it appeared that his voice was reverberating inside my head, likely because he was talking to me from within my body. And then you never get a moment's fucking peace. Your boyfriend's always fucking with you. God, try to be mad at him. I'm going in the other room. Yeah, well, I'm coming with you. Like, hold on. Did you just do that? Duh. Didn't I tell you? We become one. So don't worry, I'll protect you. This is so fucking weird. So fucking weird. Otaro... I immediately checked my waist. The Natsuke and braided rope that should have been there were completely gone. I must have absorbed them. I was literally thinking in my head, I'm like, did we absorb them? Because that's. And she said it. Oh, God. I was thinking to why I was thinking is like, oh, we absorbed them because that's not disgusting and kind of fucked up. But no, she absorbed them. Okay. I was going to say it to be funny because that's kind of creepy, but the game went there. With Otaro by my side, I have nothing to fear. I should be able to protect Lord Habina as well. I was really like going to be like, oh, okay, no, and then Natsuke's there, so maybe we can somehow separate our souls and turn him into, and then like, okay, but like, I'm going to go with we're probably not going to do that, and this is okay. I fucking weird. Okay. I did not see us fusing with our love interest like this. Okie dokie. Wait, where's Lord Habina? When I remembered that, I hurriedly turned back to the shrine. There stood Lord Habina, just the same as before. Though I was curious as to why he was staring at me with such a shocked expression, as soon as I recognized his ephemeral form, I immediately ran over to him. Lord Habina, I'm so glad you're safe. Yes, I'm all right. But more importantly, your appearance. Huh? After he pointed that out, I looked down at myself a second time. When I did, the hair I had brushed back fell past my shoulders and entered my field of view. My pure white hair. What is this? When I looked closer, my hair wasn't the only thing that had changed. My skin had also become as white as snow. Yeah, so they basically albinos. All right. So again, our mother being like, yeah, you weren't supposed to find me. I mean, they did cover that up with a, like, oh, everybody thinks you look normal. Nobody notices like you have a glamour on you. But it's still weird. She's like, how did you find me? You're the whitest-assed motherfucker in all of Japan. You don't think they were going to find you? And I don't mean your pasty-ass white skin, girl. I mean the fact that your hair is also white. Like, they were going to notice. But I get it. Like, everybody looks at her and thinks she looks normal and don't. Or, you know what I mean? Even if they notice, they don't notice. You know what I mean? Like, somebody goes, you didn't notice her white hair? I did, but you're right. It is odd now that you mention it. You know? I mean, to my knowledge, the only people who looked this extraordinary were the Hakuseki clan. Does anything come to mind? From the moment you woke up, you were immediately transformed. From the moment I woke up, you're like, oh, just because I fused with my lover, who should have been a form folk but was actually a Blightfall? What else? In that case, when I was unconscious, I received power from Otaro. I think that might have something to do with it. Otaro? Yes, you see, Otaro's the Blightfall that's been assimilated into Lord Habie. I see. The power of a Blightfall. Upon hearing my explanation, Lord Habina's gaze trailed off and a serious look came over his face. But there was no time for casual conversation. By the time I'd noticed, Lord Habie's arm had almost finished repairing itself. Lord Habina noticed this from the side of his vision and spoke to me with a determined voice. Spacey, I will teach you the final secret of the Hakuseki clan. A secret? Another one? Yes, the truth is. Okay, should have seen that one coming. The Hakuseki clan. They are Blightfall themselves. You know? When we fused with the Blightfall and he was like, oh, you fused with the Blight, and he didn't seem like sus about that. I was like, he knows some shit. I did not expect him to say, well, Hakuseki clan are actually Blightfall. I expected something else, but but he wasn't shocked about us fusing with the Blightfall. Like, wait, what? You're supposed to exterminate them. He was like, huh. So I was like, there's something about this. So there's some reason why he doesn't think that's weird. But I don't think I was going to quite get here. For a moment, I couldn't understand the meaning of those words. Those two, the Hakuseki clan and Blightfall, were destined to be enemies. For them to intersect with each other would be unthinkable. Maybe the Hakuseki are purified Blightfall. What do you mean? What are you saying? We gods created the Hakuseki clan in order to fight against the Blightfall. But their power does not come from us. It's created by inverting the power taken from the Blightfall they defeat.
So we absorb Blightfall. Okay. That explains why our power was always weak. So are you saying that when we purified Rurico, we like absorbed the Blightfall? We just didn't know we were doing it? That's some shit. Okay. Alright, listen, you know what? I'm proud of you, game, for holding out some of your secrets till the end. Good times. They are unnaturally white because they're the polar opposite of the pitch black Blightfall. You know? To be fair, the Hakuseki clan being pasty as fuck and defeating, but they should have caught on to just like, oh, because like Blightfall are black and they're white, and like, that's racist, game. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, okay, all right, okay. Should have at least seen what they were doing with the parallel there. Not that that would have been enough to be like, I bet the Hakuseki are actually Blightfall for realsies. It's like, oh, you should have seen what they were doing with the color play. You know what I mean? Light and dark, black and white, absolutely. You know what I mean? But like on the color chart and in the light realm, you know what I mean? But like we should have noticed that and seen what they were trying to do there. But I wasn't paying attention to it. So night and day, darkness and light. Do you understand? Now I do, but that did go over my head, to be fair. Lord Abina's explanation was so easy to understand that I could only stare with my mouth agape, right? It's one of those things that, like, should have stood out instantaneously. Like, oh, Blackfall are all made of, like, dark, evil threads, and the Hakuseki clan is, like, pure, pasty-ass white. So, like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing with the balance, you know? And it's like, no. Totally missed that. But I, again, never would have gotten to, but like, what if? Like, it's just the Hakuseki clan has power. Okay. But even so, it wasn't something I could so easily accept. Why did you think to use the power of the Blightfall? Since you're gods, I'd assume you should have been able to create something like the clan without having to rely on Blightfall. That's right. We can even make divine retainers. But it's faster and more reliable to use something that already exists than to create something from scratch. All the more reason if our goal is to exterminate the Blightfall. After hearing that, I felt conflicted. In other words, the only thing expected of the Hakuseki clan was to exterminate Blightfall. They weren't like normal people, which also explains then why it was like, no, you can never leave and you have to marry within. But it's like, why? You could just create more Hakuseki people. They're not like normal humans. Yes, they can still, like, procreate like normal humans, I guess, but you could always just create new ones. But I guess then you'd have to admit that they're and then, like, you created the original clan and were like, hey, new people, here's the deal. And they were like, oh, okay. And generations later, they're like, who knows? We fight the Blightfall. What do you mean? Oh, stories lost to time, right? You know? Despite sharing the same power source, Blightfall were massacred because they were created differently. That was why the Hakuseki were sympathetic. And I realized that not only do we have Hakuseki blood flowing through us, but black threads dwelt inside of our bodies too. It's also why marriage was only permitted among the members of the clan. They couldn't possibly allow the blood of Blightfall to mix with normal humans. Okay, maybe that makes a little more sense and isn't douchey, like, well, you gotta stay pure blood. It's like, well, because when you mix the streams, bad shit happens. Okay. So by gaining the power of the Blightfall named Otaro, you are much closer to becoming a pure Hakuseki, to becoming a Blightfall. So what? But I am the product of a Hakuseki person and a normal person, and there was really no adverse effects there. Sorta. No, you might even be imbued with the power of a god. Cool. That Otaro fellow was assimilated into Hibiye, wasn't he? It wouldn't be strange if Hibiye's energy was mixed in with the power he gave you. Through Lord Habina's explanation, one of the questions I'd had was resolved. My recent ability to see the Blightfall's footprints, as well as my snow sacrament becoming stronger, was all thanks to Otaro. I mean, we knew that.
By interacting with the Blightfall Otaro and becoming intimate with him,
Girl, I know what she meant, but still, phrasing.
I'd been slowly becoming a more pure-blooded member of the clan.
Which, I mean, again, we kind of figured.
But not like, it was like, I figured, okay, it's enhancing the powers that she already has or whatever, not, well, because you're absorbing him sort of the way he was absorbing other people because you're also a Blightfall. But okay.
That means, with your current powers, we might even have a fighting chance against Hibie.
That was when Lord Hibie's roar rang through the air. It seemed we were out of time. Lord Hibina, his regeneration complete, was slowly trying to get up.
Listen, I'll focus on making the snow fall. You need to use that power of yours to save your friends first. Right now, you're a member of the Hakuseki clan with divine power. Pray and it should come true.
Got it. Normally, I wouldn't have believed such words so easily. But now Lord Hibina's plan was backed by the power that came surging from deep within. In my current form, I felt as though any miracle was within my grasp.
Hang in there, everyone!
One by one, I began waking all of those who were lying unconscious as Hibie drew closer.
This is... But I thought we were done for. Don't worry about my hair!
I touched each of them and performed the snow sacrament. A warm light enveloped everyone, and they all woke up. By sharing with them Otaro's power, the power of a god, just as when I woke, their injured bodies gradually reconstructed themselves.
Spacey, what's with that hair? You look just like Setsu.
It's all right. Don't worry. From here on out, I'm going to fulfill my duty as a member of the Hakuseki clan.
Your duty? Hold up. I have, no clue what's going on right now. Let us ignore the finer details for now. Regardless, there's only one thing we must do.
And so the Oniwaban rose to their feet once more, their eyes fixed on the furious divine Blightfall that barred their path. As Lord Hibie roared, he raised his arm high to attack us again. He must have decided to get rid of the pesky Oniwaban first. Opposing him were the members at the front line, Kinji, Kuga, and Yoichi.
Huh, that's weird.
I feel it too. Our blades feel completely different. It must have been the effect of the accumulated snow. Everyone was cutting down Lord Hibie's arms and tentacles with ease, or my magic abilities that I gave them. Also, does that mean I can absorb... Wait. So then I can absorb all my boyfriends. They all live in my mental man... Oh, that's what I've been doing all these years. I thought I was just crazy, but I actually have them all living in my... Oh, okay, see? See, I'm not crazy. My mental man harem is real.
If so, let us attack the main body with all our might.
Maintaining his speed, Kinji swung his blade at Lord Hibie. Lord Hibie had only just managed to restore his body before he was rendered limbless, resembling a perfectly round Daruma doll. I mean, it's probably a combination of the snow, but also we revived them and gave them godlike power, so... His limbs gone, the only option to attack us was... with his voice. But nothing happened. What should have numbed us to the core simply rang through the air. Was it because they were revived by divine power? Or perhaps it was because Lord Hibina's snow had weakened him. Probably a combination. Kinji and the others were perfectly fine.
Now's our chance. We're gonna help him out. Spacey, let's go!
Right. Taken along by Tojo and Tominari, I also charged toward the mass of black threads that Lord Hibie had become. But Lord Hibie had not given up either. He opened his mouth wide, this time regurgitating a waterfall of black threads from the back of his throat. Ew!
Whoa! Leave this to me!
When he saw that, Tojo swung down hard on the bundle of black threads. In return, the waterfall of black threads split in twain without losing its velocity.
Now, deal him the final blow!
Right after we were sent out by Tojo, Tominari pulled me along as we jumped high into the air.
Let's end this!
Right! Tominari ended it. I mean, we'll probably be the one to do it, but still, Tominari is like there at the very end again. I felt nimble. Before I knew it, the white light of the snow sacrament was glowing in the palm of my hand. Though I hadn't learned about combat posture nor how to fall safely, my body had naturally taken a stance because of Otaro. I mean, that's the benefit of fusing with your boyfriend, is like you get all his skills and shit. Just from that, I instinctively understood that Otaro was still a part of me, that he was beside me even now. No, he's inside you.
Keep going! I'll back you up!
Oh, look, we can see little ghost Otaro. That's cute. And then, just as Tominari swung his sword, I slammed the snow sacrament into the mask. In that instant, my field of vision turned pitch black. With Lord Hibie's mask split in two, the black threads trapped within began spilling out like a tidal wave. It must have been the malice that Lord Hibie had been gathering all this time. I thought that it would go on forever. But it won't. It's not technically the end of the part, but I'm gonna end it here, because I don't know if this part's gonna go on. I don't have, like, at 5 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. I don't have 20, 30 minutes to record the rest of this right now. So if it is only a matter of like, but we're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to wrap up, and then we're gonna have a little romance with Ataru. So it's probably gonna be at least 20 minutes. I don't have 20 minutes at the moment, so I'm just gonna stop it here, and we'll have another part that will probably be our end with all of our lovey-dovey stuff. So, but we got the main battle done. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.